Welcome to Gratefully Gifted, a podcast for gifted kids made by gifted kids because we do think it is great to be gifted. On today's episode, we will interview Ron Bond, who is a retired Vietnam War vet. We will learn about bravery on this episode, so let's get started.
Hello and welcome to First Some Fun. I'm your host for this section and my name is Harrison. Here's a riddle that is unsolvable by 67% of people. What is hard to throw but easy to lift? Answer: I am hard to throw but easy to pick up. Who am I? I am a feather.
Here are a few fun facts about courage. Courage is the choice and willingness to confront agony, pain, danger, uncertainty, or intimidation. Another thing about courage is courageous people stand up against things that threaten them or the things or people that they care about.
Hello there. Today we are interviewing Ron Bond. He is a retired Marine and Navy corpsman who was in the Vietnam War. Welcome to Gratefully Gifted, Mr. Bond.
Are you okay with answering some questions I have?
Yes, sir, I'm really.
All right. To begin with, why did you volunteer to join the military?
Well, when I was a young kid, I found out my dad and my uncles had served in World War II in the Navy fighting the Japanese. And I was always so proud of my dad, and he would tell me stories. And so as I grew up, I wanted to be like him. So I literally went and joined the Navy with my best friend in high school. And that's how that all started. I was just proud to serve my country.
Oh.
So I volunteered totally for everything. And when I went to the recruiter to join up, he asked me, did I go to college? And I said, yes. And he says, what is your major? And I said, pre-med. And he says, boy, if I got a good job for you, we're going to extend your medical career for the rest of your life. We are going to make you a corpsman. But I had no idea what a corpsman was when I was talking to the recruiter. So I was just smiling and said, okay, let's do it. And so after volunteering, signing the contract, they sent me off to boot camp in San Diego.
Speaking of that, what is a corpsman?
Well, a corpsman, and it's really strange. People usually can't even pronounce it right. It's spelled C-O-R-P-S-M-A-N. A lot of people say corpse man, and that's incorrect because it signifies a corpse is dead, a dead man. We're not dead. No, we were the combat medics of the Marine Corps. The Army has their combat medics, the Air Force have theirs, and the Navy, it goes both ways. It can go what we call blue side, and that's the ones that are on the ship, or it can go green side, and that is the ones who go into the Marine Corps.
Oh, that actually sounds really interesting. Now, earlier I heard you mention something about Vietnam. Can you elaborate on that?
Yeah, Vietnam was a really weird, if I can say that, war. Why we got into it is still being discussed, but I always said, well, wherever Uncle Sam wants to send me, he can send me, and I'll go and do my duty. And that's exactly what happened. I got orders that sent me to the 1st Marine Division in the northern part of South Vietnam. So this war went on for, started in 65 or something like that to 75. So about 20 years worth of fighting. And we lost over 58,000 young boys and men, 18, 19 years old in this war. It was a pretty nasty war.
Well, that's very sad. I hear you use we. Does that mean you were in Vietnam at the time?
I use the word we?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, we encompass everybody, I guess, that was with me at that time. So what it was, they sent me to jungle warfare training at Camp Pendleton, California. And then from there, I was sent on a plane to Vietnam and inserted into the 3rd Marine Division. Now, again, a corpsman, we were the best trained medical people in the entire service. The Navy is just outstanding. I spent 2 years in their med school, and then finally they said, we need you in Vietnam because lots of our Marines are getting wounded, and we need somebody over there to save them.
Oh, so that's how you ended up in Vietnam.
Yes, sir.
All right. Hey, what was your bravest moment, you'd say, in Vietnam?
Well, that's another thing. I don't feel like I was very brave. I was just actually just doing my job. And I think if you ask every Vietnam veteran, I think you'll get about the same answer. We didn't feel like we were ordinary, exceptional, brave people. We just doing our job. But also, I had the confidence in the Marine Corps, like you and I were talking before, is that we had a bond between the corpsmen and the Marines, and that is, if you look after my back, I'll look after yours. And so I was happy to serve with the Marines. They did an excellent job of taking care of me, and I hope that I did my good for them. And just for an instance, we got into a firefight, and their corpsman that was with that company of Marines got killed. And so they requested another corpsman be brought in. So they selected me. I went on a helicopter and landed on the top of a hill. And during that time, the battle was going on and a lot of fighting. And I tell you, I was so new. I just got into country, and this is what I was jumping into. But as soon as I jumped off the helicopter, I heard the most dreaded words in the world, and that is corpsman up. Well, what that means, there's a Marine that's hurt, and they're hollering for a corpsman. They need somebody to come take care of them because they're wounded. And so as soon as that happened, my mind just kicked in automatically because that's my job. And so I went running across the battlefield, picking up Marines, putting them behind rocks so they wouldn't get shot up anymore, stopping the bleeding, trying to, if they had a sucking chest wound, we made sure that they were on the side so they didn't bleed out. If they had an artery that was bleeding, we clamped it off, tied it off so they wouldn't bleed to death. So when that was all over, the LT, which stands for the lieutenant, come up to me and says, "Hey, Doc, thank you so much for coming and helping us. You saved a bunch of the Marines." And at that time, I thought, well, I guess that was brave. He said it was brave. He told me you did good and so forth. I think and hope that I did save some lives that day. So,
Like, since you went on to the battlefield to go help other Marines, correct?
that's right.
Like, what was your driving force? What was the thing that kept you going forward? What kept you continuing on and not going home?
Okay, well, we had a certain time we were allowed to be in Vietnam, and that was a year. And so I knew for a year, my first tour, that my job was saving Marines' lives. And what made me keep going is that I knew that I could save some of their lives because I was so well trained. The Navy, like I said, 2 years of medical type school, they trained me excellent. They told me what to do, how to do it, and do it well in order to save somebody's life. I mean, if they were choking, I knew how. If I had to, I could do cut in their throat and put a little tube into there so that they could breathe because the rest of their block is blocked off. So that's what kept me going. I knew what I was doing, and I wanted to see these boys go home to their families and not go home in a box with a flag draped over it. So that motivated me more than anything, just knowing I had to get there, I had to save them and do my job.
Well, that sounds like you showed real bravery during that time.
Well, thank you. That's very kind of you.
Thank you for talking with me today, Mr. Bond. It was an honor to talk with you today.
I'm bored. Now what? Today we have a book report on a book called Ground Zero. This book is about a boy named Brandon and a girl named Rashmia. Brandon is a normal kid, just like me and you. But he got suspended from school due to punching a kid who was bullying his friend, and unfortunately ended up breaking his Wolverine gloves in the process. He has a plan to fix this part, but it may just be the death of him. Rashmia is an Afghan girl, just looking to do her chores and try to go out to school, but the Americans are making it hard to enjoy her life in Afghanistan. And her twin brother Pansoon hates them. His friends want to join the Taliban. Will Rashmia's brother come to his senses? Will the Americans go away? And will Brandon complete his mission for Wolverine gloves on this perfect day? You'll have to find out in Ground Zero by Alan Gratz.
Well, that is all for today. We hope you enjoyed this episode and learned some things you didn't already know. If you enjoyed it, please share it with others and like and subscribe to where you listen to this podcast. We appreciate your support, and if you'd like to reach out to us on other topic ideas, just email us at gratefully-gifted, that is with no spaces, at branson.k12.mo.us. We all feel grateful to be gifted, and we hope you do as well, because being gifted is great.